Welcome back to Shark Tank. I'm Catherine Saboon. I'm the project manager of CNS2 Class 18. And next team up is Alexa's sister. Give it up to her.
Good morning, Sharks. Me and my team are, this is Robbie, this is Hanan, I'm Alexis, Fred, and Riley. And I'm going to kick it off to Riley first.
All right, so who likes games here? Who has a mobile game on their iPhone to use? That's what I expected. So it is estimated that 220 million people in the United States use a mobile app or game on a daily basis. And there's 350 million people in the United States. So if you think about that for a moment, that's about 2/3 of the population of the United States using games. So that's quite a large market. What we bring here today is an app called Landmark. This is an app that essentially targets not only Gen Z, but Gen Y. As people are, okay, so we're going to be asking for $80,000 for a 20% equity in the app itself. And that is because our personal funds are going to be funding for the app itself, but we're going to need that money for costs from code development and the actual creation of the app. So I was sitting here yesterday, obviously, and I thought to myself, everyone uses technology nowadays. Everyone's on their phones, everyone's on their tablets, everyone's on their computers. Everyone's always looking down at their phone. Why not find a way to implement a game where people can use their phone but also get out in the real world and experience the things that, why not coincide them and get the best of those benefits? So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to my friend Fred here to explain the actual development and layout of the app itself.
All right, everyone. This is a brief look on what the Landmark app will actually entail. So you're going to be presented with the main screen. It's going to show you our logo, and you're going to be picking how far you personally are willing to commute with regards to going to your Landmark location and actually progressing towards these rewards that we'll go on to talk about soon. So there's three main categories for our Landmark app, either food spots, landmarks, or parks and trails. So once you get to your actual destination, you'll be asked a trivia question regarding to the location that you were actually at. So for this Landmark app, based on how far you actually commute, you'll receive a varying amount of points. And you'll get 50 extra points if you get the correct answer for the trivia question. Alexis will do it.
All right, so Landmark is a free app that you can download on your smartphone. As we have said before, you can pick between your categories depending on what the user is, whatever the user wants, between food, landmarks, and parks and trails. And we're targeting 18 to 40 minutes. Landmark, what is it? This app will give you the opportunity to explore your area or explore their priceless history in that area that surrounds them. And we're going to start off in Washington State, and then depending on how successful the app will be, it will branch out to other states. Red coins. You can earn red coins when you go to the landmark that you want, you scan it correctly, the QR code, and you can also get it through trivia questions if you get it right, and through advertisement videos through the app.
QR code is the flyer is going to put exactly the place where they are the question asked, and it's how they put they are actually in the landmark place. So That's how the players can collect their points, rate points to get their benefits and rewards. Why should we play this game? How many of you like free prizes? Yeah. Most of you guys like, even me, I like free prizes. So this game is free to download. It's going to take the players like different place the actual the landmark where they're located. So when we play this game, it will ask the interest question, and that carries the player the answer in the place, the landmark. So it's going to take the people to get out of their house or wherever they are and take where the landmark places to put to collect their points and to scan the QR code to get their benefits. This is the benefit that you can give the player when they answer the question. So that's how we offer the benefits. It's different gift cards and different kind of
So just to give you guys a quick overview of what's been discussed so far, you're going to open the app, you're going to get 3 sections, right? And this is all about the user. So depending on what you want to do that day, say you're hungry, or say you want to go check out Diablo Lake, or you want to go check out Space Needle Park. Depending on what you want to do that day, you click that section, and it will give you, and how far you want to travel. It will give you a list of options of possible things you want to do and where you want to go. The farther you go, the more coins you can receive. Essentially, what this is an app you can use daily when you have free time, or say you want an idea to go do with some people or go on a date. It gives you places to go, and you can earn free rewards through just doing what you're already planning to do in your daily life. And like was asked earlier, who doesn't like free prizes? It's really just a fun way to earn free rewards while living a daily life and involving technology with the present. So yeah, so there's going to be a monthly leaderboard. This is the most effective way to run this. So at the end of each month, the top 10 users that make the most red coins through trivia questions, advertisement videos, going to locations, and scanning the QR codes, they're going to be eligible to receive prizes. This is for the top 10 users only. It's just a convenient way to play and just go out through your daily life, and it's an incentive to keep people willing to play. So yeah, this is just a sample reward scale. So we've mapped it out to where for these 10 items, you're going to be spending, our company will be spending about $1,000 a month. This will be coming from our profit itself. But we've estimated that we're going to be getting about $7,000 in total a month, which will equate to about $4,700 of profit once you take into account the scale costs and payment for developers in-app maintenance, just making sure it's running correctly. So yeah, like I said, it ranges anywhere from $10 up to about $200 to $225 rewards. Pass it off to Fred.
All right. Some of the limitations of this app are it requires people going outside, and some people aren't okay with that because they want to stay inside all day. But also, people outside, there's plenty of dangerous things that can happen. They can get hit by a car while they're looking at their phone trying to find their landmark. They could be mugged and robbed by someone while they're looking at their phone trying to go to their landmark. It requires movement and requires a picture to be taken at the exact location. So if your camera's broken on your phone, sadly, you wouldn't be able to play this game the best because you have to take a picture of that QR code. People with allergies during the summertime, I know my sinuses really act up when I'm around like pollen in the air, so I probably wouldn't play this during the summertime. Also, because people sometimes would have to commute far, if they don't have a reliable form of transportation, they might not want to play this app. So spoofing prevention. With this app, because you, well, the way this app will work is when you're at the location, because of the GPS on your phone, our app will be able to pinpoint the location you are, so you know that you are actually in that landmark location. So I know what some of you could be thinking is, why don't you just change your IP address to make the app think you're in a place that you're not actually at. But because you have to take a picture of a QR code in the location, that prevents that because of both of those factors.
Hi, I'm Ravi. And targets for the app itself. We got 3 options. We got food, we got parks and trails, and we also have parks and trails, food, and landmarks itself. And you can, depending on what you want to do, if you're hungry, you can either, look up some cool place that's been here historically for like since 1904. You can go to a sushi place that's been here since 1904. That's cool. Go in there. It's been there for like 100 years almost. Yeah, that sounds cool to me. And then you can also go to, like food trucks out here that look like Transformers almost. And then we also got, it looks like a food truck, but it's actually a bus and it's a restaurant. You go to places like that, you'll see the city and you'll be like, oh, right, this is actually pretty cool. So you'll actually get up and get to see some things. And also we got, lighthouses, we got restaurants, we got a place called Millbox Peak, we got a little hike. You got to go up, and these targets are for people that actually are new to the town, and they just moved here and they don't know what to see, they want some kind of motive to go out, Well, now you got an app where you can actually get points, and you can buy some sweepstakes, some prizes, just to go out and see these locations. Some of the partners that we're going to be having for our app, Trover.com for our travel guides, Washington Historical Society, and also we're going to have Waze and Google Maps. We're going to team up with Google Maps and Waze to develop the app, so that way the location, when you take your picture, is all correct and everything. We're trying to just cater to explorers, anyone that wants to get up and see some stuff. This is the app for you. And also people that come to the town that are new. This promotes tourism, what I'm saying? So they can go around and see the Space Needle, or they could see the Troll, or they could go to, what's it called, the Bike Tree of Vashon Island, stuff like that. And, you can get a feel for the state.
Yeah, so what I was referencing earlier is, so how do we profit? So we lose between $900 to $1,000 out of our profit monthly from the actual scale itself, being able to afford the rewards for the players. But we charge about $150 a month to each place that we'd be sponsoring. So what I mean by that is partnerships. So the restaurants that we'd be sending people to, the landmarks itself, parks, the lakes, trails, and all of this, when you times the 150 times 45, which is 15 for each category, 15 locations, that's where we'd start. We'd hopefully grow depending on the success of the app. You get about $7,000, which equates to 47 when you take into account the actual cost it would take us to keep the app running, maintenance, and like I was referencing earlier, the reward scale. So that would come out to about a return on investment of about 7% monthly, which would take a couple of years to actually balance out to what it would take to overall develop the app. So yes, we're asking for $80,000 in return for 25% equity. I might have originally said 20, but I was referencing 25. This is just taking into consideration local development instead of outsourcing. Outsourcing is when you go to a third-party user and you're essentially having them help you develop the app instead of locally developing in your area, which would in turn save money all around. And I did some research and I found that a medium level complexity app like this takes between 500 and 700 hours to complete. Just for reference, we all know, we've all heard of the app Pokemon Go. That's a very high complex app with visuals, locations, a lot of different locations. That's what you consider a high complex app. That took about 1,200 hours to complete work alone. This would not entail that much work, so it would take less time and take less money. We would most likely have to hire a coding app development team. None of us are efficient in that right now, and that would be the most efficient and marketable way to get this going. So yeah, when you're taking this all into account, this would be the amount of money that we need to successfully go ahead and get the app rolling and start the development of the overall process. And thank you.
I thought I heard somebody that also mentioned ad revenue, but all I saw on your revenue was your partner revenue.
Yes, I might have spaced to mention that. We would also be gaining revenue through video advertisements on the app, besides our actual sponsorships, just as a more secure or backup way to have a consistent basis of making money.
And then your revenue would be from these partners and from advertisements, and you're spending money on these rewards that people build up points for.
Yes.
And they get more points based on how far they went. But
Yes.
your revenue doesn't change based on how far people go.
No, it does not. So the more willing the user is to go out of their way, say, they're feeling more adventurous that day, they want to go to Lake Diablo compared to a restaurant. That's 80 miles away compared to 10 miles. It's going to be more points for them in the long run. It's more of an incentive to play the game and be correct.
Do you think it's realistic to have only 45 spots in an 80-mile radius?
I think it is to start out. Obviously, as we gauge the success, we're hoping to branch out and partner with more places.
And also we will team up with websites like Trover.com and Atlas, Afar travel guides. Basically, other people have gone around and already explored the city. They take pictures, they leave a little caption, and I just went on Trover.com and they do the same thing there too. Basically, just go on there and find places and see what people say about them, and it's good. A lot of people are going there and taking pictures and writing captions about that, but we'll throw it on our app. And there's always a whole bunch of locations, and if we run out, then we advance to the next state.
So I noticed that you showed them different prices, right?
Yeah.
So am I, as a customer, am I competing against how many people? Do I have to reach that top 10 to get a prize?
Yeah.
So
You got-
basically, the game is, am I competing against
Yes.
how many people?
Whoever has the app.
What's
And
the
it's-
approx number that you have? Like how many people will be using the app?
Well, our goal is to target the people that are newly moved to Washington.
Yeah.
And we get about like 80,000 to about 85,000 people a year. So that's a target number right there. Plus already people that are already out here that live here and that just want to explore. And also like kids that just turned like 18, they got a driver's license now,
Yes.
They want to drive around too. So you're probably looking at approximately more than about 200,000 people.
So it doesn't matter how many red points I have. What it matters is that I am in the top 10.
You need the red coins to be in the top 10.
Got it. Okay. What's the size of the app? Like, what will it be? Like, will it be like super heavy that will make my phone slower?
I don't think there'll be that much memory that'll take away from your phone. What's it called? But big, like as in megabytes, gigabytes on your phone, probably less than a gig.
Well, yeah, if you look at Google Maps, it's only about like 20, 30 megabytes, and I don't estimate it would be any more than probably like 50 or 60. Of course, if you wanted to, you could download the maps offline the same way you'd be able to on Google Maps to allow travel, because especially when you're going to these more remote locations, you might not get the best signal from your data provider.
Well,
Yeah.
also, we're going to have to take into account the size of the app itself, because in return, what happens is if you have a heavy app, a large app, it's going to drain your battery of your phone faster. It's screen time is going to take more away from the phone itself. So scaling back and making it a smaller app, but large enough to work with these other companies and places is what the real key is to making this happen.
Yeah, you guys have also like you're going to show videos through the app.
No videos.
videos?
No, just a picture of the location and a
Okay.
trivia
Well,
question.
advertisement videos,
Advertisement.
Yeah,
yes.
because I have seen apps like that and they are so heavy, not because of Google Maps, but because of the videos that you show us.
The only videos we will be showing on our thing is just an advertisement that comes up real quick. We watch it for 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and then after that goes away. And those advertisements are going to help fund our app too, because they're going to be paying us to advertise on our app.
Yeah, and those videos aren't downloaded within the app, so
Yeah.
they wouldn't be taking up actual space for the app. They would be coming from the internet and they would be streamed, so it wouldn't affect the actual size.
I still don't understand too much about the QR codes. Like, where are they going to be? Do I have to unlock my phone to scan?
So the app will have a picture thing where you take a picture of the QR code itself.
And where are they going to be? But I mean in the places.
Oh, in the places, yeah. That's where we team up with actual companies or whoever the place is. And we're also going to be teaming up with Washington Historical Society. Basically, they're the ones that upkeep and do all the stuff for all the landmarks and stuff. So we go to them and ask them if they can come up with a way to set up a QR code where you can just open up the app, take a picture of that, and boom, there you go, you get your coins.
Like, not in paper, but with a little.
Yeah. Like what I was thinking was we could set up a QR code, but set in stone, set permanently, not like a piece of paper that could get tattered through the weather or something like that.
Okay.
That sounds expensive.
Yeah, we're considering distributing or paying them to actually distribute the QR codes.
Is that taken into account into the overall budget for startup?
I haven't looked into that, but I would personally be spending that out of personal funds myself instead of asking for the Sharks money for that.
I mean, that's then flipping your model where you're paying people to participate instead of having them pay you the $150 a month. How does that scale? Like, is it just forever in Seattle because it really just takes you spending your money running around on the ground?
Well, once the QR codes are set up, then we'd actually be getting more of a significant profit. It really would scale over to a lot. Once they would set it up, it would be less time.
It's a one-time setup.
It's a one-time setup, and once they are, then we could actually make more profit. So there'll be a certain time period when we won't be making as much money, but we're hoping to grow as the user growth resource too. So.
Yeah, think about Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
You know, they just laid over their app on another game that already had all the locations in it. So have you considered finding an actual partner that does that work for you? Because that's a lot of legwork, both the startup and then I still think, I don't really buy that you can scale this outside of Seattle unless you completely change your model.
Okay. I haven't considered that, but that is a great point that we will look into. I appreciate that.
So,